Hey Collective, and welcome back. It's Al. I actually wanted to come on today to rectify something that I had misspoken about in the previous video where I was talking about the purification process, and I was talking about how you get tested in the purification process. And at some point in the video, I had made a comment about how I'm not really familiar with the occult side of things because I walk more with Christ, and I work with the divine energy that's more in that direction. And it did not sit well with me. It just did not sit well with me. And I'm the first one to correct something if I misspoke or am out of line. I will always come back and say this is not sitting with my integrity, because at the end of the day, I realized that I was being hypocritical, and I don't do that. That's not something that I do in where I'm at, because I honor all faiths, I honor all tribes, I honor all walks of life. And so I realized that the spiritual warfare that's going on between people thinking that they know what's best and all that stuff, I don't do that. That's not my position. I don't hold that office, if you will. Like, I'm here helping prepare the way for someone else that's going to pass judgment. I'm just a symbol, right? And so, but I don't want to ever equate a dishonest part of myself. And in that moment, it just wasn't me. And I didn't realize it because I was actually just speaking very just casually, because y'all know I don't prepare much. I just speak from the heart, and I speak with my humility and my integrity, and I walk with the divine that way. But as I was laying here today, because it's kind of chilly, like that's why I'm wearing my Say Something hat day, because my hair's all, no, do not share the hat, do not share the hair, wear a hat. And so the divine one is actually funny. This is a digression, but the divine actually really likes the color purple. And so I'm a big green person, so I feel like at some point, if I ever become beyond successful, that I'm going to walk around like the Joker. Like, it'll be like a purple and green, like, because, But the point is that it's just very cool outside right now. It's a beautiful weather in California, and Los Angeles is just very, very flowy. The winds of change are all over, and so I've decided to wear a hat to keep my hair in check. Basically. So, but going back to the topic. So, when it came to my truth, I realized that although I am moving away from the concept of deviation, I realized that I am the fray. My path came through the occult. It came through esoteric theosophy. It deviated from Catholicism because of the fact of all the child molestation, all that stuff. And so all the red flags and the women being subservient, all that stuff set me off where I had to go on my own pathway. And so I don't want to turn off anybody that falls in my tribe or in our tribe in this frequency. I don't want to turn you off from your path, because God speaks to everyone in different ways. And so some people come to us through the occult. I did it. And some people come through it through pagan ways, and then they find their own path. And so I needed to step up further back and actually really check in with myself as a leader and say, okay, I get that I walk more with the divine, and I'm going through all of this purification, all that stuff, but I'm not going to dishonor the fact that the divine reached me, Al Arevalo, through the occult. Because if it would have been the Catholic Church, I would have never come back. I would have because that's what they do. That's one of the things that's the byproduct of letting the devil in the house, is that you're turning more people away than you're bringing to God. And so I was like, So I was in that moment, though I was being very honest, it wasn't my truth as a soul. My soul doesn't look at the world in black and white. My soul sees variation. It sees grays, it sees yellows, it's greens and purples and all this stuff. And so I always am cautious of the fact that I don't want to ever turn somebody away from the light if they're coming to us from different vantage points. And I needed to course correct really fast because something was jumping out at me. I was like, what is it that's bugging me? Because it was very informal. I mean, it's true. I tend to walk more with the, with the light and I don't really deal with the occult that often, but I don't have anything against it. I honestly can say that to me the occult just speaks to supernatural beliefs, and then I had to really sit with that in my own shell and go, prophets are supernatural. You know what I mean? Like people who, everybody has their own way of being and saying things. But then I was like, it's a manipulation. And so I was like, I don't deal with manipulation. And so I just wanted to come back on here and say that I'm very much all pro anything that gets you to take responsibility for your own life and take accountability for where you're going and to help society. If you're stepping into humanitarian efforts, then I would recommend that you do that whenever you can. When you say something and it doesn't sit well with you and you don't know why because you're being truthful, ask yourself further questions and go, well, is this ego? And then go, okay, that's not ego. Well, what is it? It's indoctrination. And then I went, oh, okay, it's indoctrination. So what is it that's playing in the back of my head? And then I went and I looked at it. And it just takes a lot of introspection and time. And so that's why I said in the last video, communion, being in communion with the divine is super important, because each person is tasked with their own houses. And I said that in the last video. But that doesn't mean that someone in this position as a spiritual leader doesn't have to sit in a place where you accept and acknowledge the truth and value of all people. And so I can't sit in my own truth in that, and that alignment, if I sit there and say things like that. So let me be very clear. I found my path because of the corruption in the Catholic Church. That's what led me down the Easter eggs to look for my own path. And it was through that I discovered all the wisdom that I've been bestowing on the collective. And it's not ever deviating away from the divine. It's not ever speaking ill of God. It's not ever speaking to Satan or anything like that. And so it's manipulation that people throw at you when they start to make you feel like you can't venture down your own path. And I started to realize that then, because I had mentioned at the end of that, it was the second part of what was sticking in my craw, was the fact that I had very honestly said, don't ever get in the way of God's word, putting your bullshit experience into that word. And so what I was saying is my subconscious was saying to me, you don't believe that humanity understands fully the word of anything because they have changed it. They have corrupted it. The child molesters in churches and women being subjugated and races being wiped out, all this stuff. You don't stand in that truth. So it was trying to tell me as a leader, hey, I get where you're at now. You do walk with the divine, but the divine loves all people equally and is trying to help them get home. So don't ever allow yourself to not second guess yourself and come back and course correct. There's no shame in what I'm doing right now and being a leader and saying, hey, I didn't like what I said there, so I take ownership and I'm coming back to set the record straight. Because if it wasn't for esoteric theosophy, I wouldn't be able to lead everybody the way I'm leading people. And not everybody, I'm not in charge of the whole world. The second coming is going to take care of that. But we are the forerunners and we are making way. And so I don't want to ever come across where I close a door to someone the way that the organized religion has done to millions of people. Like, it's just turned so many people away from faith that I don't want to equate myself in any way, shape, or form to that organized structure. What we're doing here is we're making a way for Christ to return, and in that moment when Christ returns, he or she or it will set the record straight. That is not my task. And so I don't ever want to sit in a judgment space like that. And so that's what I just wanted to say to you guys. At the end of the day, however you get to light, however you find your doorway and you open the door and there's God, Allah, whoever you believe in, then that is the right path for you. And no one has the right to say anything that makes you feel like icky about it. You see what I'm saying? Because we are going to have to reform things. We want to keep the Word of God. We want to keep Scripture. We want to keep all of that going because that is very important to us as the shadow side of the Spirit, of our own spirit, and then of the Holy Spirit. But we can't do that if we sit in judgment of other people when we ourselves are not out of judgment as a collective. Like, the collective is still being reviewed. And so it's very important for me in the position that I'm at to own my mistake there and my wording choicing and come back and say that. And then the flip side of that is there's a part B. At the end of the video, I had been talking about a soul that I know that was someone that I've known in the past. It's a brother soul. It's like a twin soul. But it's never a sexual thing. It's always like a twin, like just brothers. And so we've always been brothers through all of our lifetimes. And they're going through like a little negative patch. And I made it, like, there was something about that didn't sit right with me, because it was almost like I was trying to, because what I'm trying to do is reach them through the protection wall that they should have. And I was taking away their free will. And I don't do that. You see what I'm saying? So let's just say that I always have an off day that day, and I own it. Because nobody writes what I say. I write my own stuff, and I don't write it. I just say it. I'll take notes. But you guys see what I'm saying? I'm very informal, but I'm very in tune. And so those were the two things that were sticking out at me, because this person is a brother of mine, someone that I really, truly care about, that I have never met in this lifetime. And so the interactions that we've had in crossing each other's paths, even though not actually ever knowing each other, but in spiritual matters, has just been where I just the light that they are seems dimmer than before. And instead of saying that, because of what all the conversation that led before that, which was very serious about virtues, I think I deviated from what I was trying to say, which is, brother, you are a ray of light. You are the light that exudes energy and effort and love and peace and all of that. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that as a friend that doesn't know you in this lifetime, but that I know you on a spiritual level, the negativity is almost, I feel like it might be dampening you, but that's not the you that I, on a subconscious level or in a soul level, know you as. And so I know it may have come across the wrong way. I don't think it did to you, but to others it may have. And the dialogue isn't between everybody else, it's between you and I. But in this moment, just understand that my authenticity is not to trigger you in any way, but I was trying to get through your defensive wall that you have to have, and to say, hey, there are friends here that you may not know, and I know that you question the soul connections, but you are a divine being. And so the divine just reminded me very gently that if I just speak to you directly, that you'll see what I'm trying to say in a very non-confrontal way. Is that a word, confrontal? Confrontal. I'm gonna go with it. I look like a penis anyway. I'm a big dickhead. I think that's what the point is. I'm a dick. But you have such an important role in this world. And I was just, as a friend, was getting a little nervous. And I could realize that was on my end. Like, I was projecting a little bit, because I understand where you're coming from. But we're trying to bring unity to the planet. And our tasks are really big, yours and mine. And actually the three of us. But we have incredibly big tasks. And so I don't want to break the bond of friendship. I mean, if we don't get along, we just don't get along, then it's not meant to be friendships this time around. But I still can be a soul-to-soul connection with you. And just say that I've noticed that the light is a little dimmer. It's a little bit more... how do I not be manipulative about this? But are you having fun anymore? Are you enjoying what you're doing? You know who I'm talking to. Are you having fun? Or are you feeling obliged? Are you whatever it is, I can see it, is what I'm saying. And I'm not I'm not like some sort of superhero. So I'm just saying that, do you feel oppressed? Like, do you feel pressure? Do you feel... Because I don't. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, as a buddy, for me, when I was feeling the pressure, I just needed to say what I needed to say and just open the floodgates. And then it lifted. And then everything was new again. Life was good again. I started considering my children and the babies on board with this vessel, because there's 4 that have attached themselves to me. And I'm all like, woohoo! You know, they even give me their names. But it happened when I released this sense of obligation. Because I'm feeling like where we bonded at first was in our obligation to the collective. And I think the divine is now handing both of us in different ways opportunities that make us free to do what we were meant to do, but in a different way, so as to alleviate the chains that were burdening us. And I guess I just want to reach out to you in that way. Because I don't want you to feel like I am judging you, because I love you. You are a brother. You are a very special being to me. And even though we don't know each other, you'll know who I'm talking to. Even though we don't know each other, I want you happy, fulfilled, satisfied, the glorious normal self that you are, effervescent, joy, super strong, loving, and very loyal. And so I guess that's where I'm trying to reach you, is through the fact that I know that you're loyal to the divine. And the divine, I can't speak on the divine on this one because it's between you and the divine. But as a servant of the divine and a brother of yours, and have known each other for a very long time, are you feeling the weight of the world when there are people around you offering to hold that weight? Because if you are, then friendship, dude, just send me an email, call me. I know that you get weirded out by stuff like that, but I think you get what I'm saying. it's not just any frequency that we're at. And so, as a buddy, like, I'm not going to lie to you. I see like a little bit, and I don't want to pronounce it because that would be manipulation. I just want you to understand that there are people on this planet with you in this reality that are going through the same thing that you are, and that everyone has their tasks, and maybe through friendship, just conversation, and just saying what you need to say. If I triggered you and pissed you off the other day, then call me, tell me. And, I'll do the same thing with you. But it's not coming from a combative place, because I realize that the negativity that I was seeing isn't your negativity, and I think that's what was bugging me. But I can't go around taking people's free will away. So see that? You see what I'm saying? But there's like a negativity that's around you that's not your energy. And I guess that's what I was trying to speak to yesterday. Because like for me, now I'm all positive. It's like a positivity, and like I see so much down the road, and it's long term. And I know you see that as well. But I just want you to be as free. The divine absolutely adores you. Absolutely adores you. You're the prize. I'm the prize. We're the prize. So I just want to reach out to you. So those are the 2 course corrections I need to do. Some days I have, every day can be a good day, a bad day. All my days are good, to be honest with you. But sometimes if I say something that comes across and doesn't sit well with me, as you can see, I'm the first one to step up and say, hey, I spoke out of line, or I probably should have looked at it from a different perspective. Because that's what leadership is, especially spiritual leadership is. You're not living for you, you are living for humanity in the service of the divine. So whenever I feel misaligned, I will come and say it. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys. I know that it's a very short message. I've been doing very long ones. But to the person that I'm speaking to, brother, you are like a sunshine incarnate. You're very powerful. Because of the power that we have as brothers, we inadvertently can manifest drama if we surround ourselves in drama. If we have negativity around us and it starts to weigh on us and we start to buy in on it, then we help create that energy. And you, of all people, are super strong and a divine being in a different scale that most people don't know. I see you. The divine sees you. But do you see you right now? And I mean that in the most humblest, sweetest way I can possibly do it. Because we're meant to work together in different ways, even though maybe not in like actually working in physical form, but we have our tasks that interlock in different ways. All of us at this frequency are working together as a group. And though we are not working together directly, the divine has a plan, and we are all equally part of the plan. But I'm just saying that you are a very effervescent energy. And where I'm spicy, somebody said I'm very spicy the other day, and I started giggling. I'm like, that's me. I'm spicy. It's better than savage. Oh, he's such a savage. And that was the other thing. Did y'all remember that back in the day I was telling you that Megan Thee Stallion song, Savage, which I just love, that Divine was not comfortable with it, and I kept getting like pushback on it. It wasn't until I got the download and the information and the research to discover the fact that when the negative energies on this planet that enslave humanity, they refer to us as savages. And then that's why the divine doesn't like that. So that intuitive quality is what's also leading me to course correct today, is what I'm saying. And so to you, brother, just know that I'm coming from the best possible place. I may never hear from you, and that's fine. It's not a manipulation. It's connecting to you on a soul level. And just saying that I didn't mean to come across judgy. I was trying to come across a little bit more in truth, which was like a little bit more direct. Because we do know each other. And so I know that other people are going to probably go, what the fuck is this about? But you and I know each other on a cosmic level. And so you know that when it comes to this function that I'm doing, we've been here before. You have led this before. I have communicated this. We've been brothers many, many times. And so you know that I have a very direct approach to people I care about. You know what I mean? And so this experience is a little bit different because I'm way more... There's a sweetness and purity that I don't know if it's ever been there before. I think it always has been because of the role, but I didn't remember it. And so, though I come across very sweet and docile, as you can see, I'm very direct and very on point. And so I'm just trying to relate to you on that point. So there's no opposition within the personality. It's just that if you do tarot, there's the Emperor, who is all four kings, and I think it was Natalie who put it best today. I know when to be the King of Cups. I know when to be the King of Swords. I know when to be the King of Staves, and I know when to be the King of Pentacles, right? And so so it's not opposition within oneself. It's that different aspects of each of us represents different strengths and different weaknesses. And so if I come across in a way that's not myself of pure state, then I'm the first one to admit it. So that's what I'm doing here, is to just say, guys, don't, like, you see who I am, and it's just who I am. I don't apologize for it. I'm very happy with who I am. I'm especially happy with the confidence in my self-empowerment. God's given me quite a bit in my life, and I live my life in joy now. I'm course correcting on something that I said that may turn off people that we are here to help. Not help, because they help themselves, but here to help guide. And to this particular soul, brother, I love you. That's all I want to say. I don't know if you need to hear that. I don't think nobody ever needs to hear anything, but I'm just giving you support, even though I don't know you. You don't have to take it, but it's something that my soul and my heart were just like, just try again, and then let it be. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys have a blessed night. I am going to veg. I'm meditating today. I'm in a lot of communion with the divine. But now, because this whole thing was just sitting in me, and it was like sitting sideways. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but like when you're in the middle of something, and out of nowhere you're just like, something's just bugging me, and I don't know what it was. And so I feel much better now that I've rectified the situation. So I love you all. Have a great night. This is going to be a super short video. Good night.